Hey, it's Justine and welcome to another video for Ellen Hudson. I'm a little bit under the weather, so I apologize for my voice in this month's video. I'm going to be using the Parcel box die from Ellen Hudson, and I'm going to be die cutting this using some 80-pound Nina Solar White cardstock. It also comes with this piece in the middle if you'd like to cut out a little window in your box in case you wanted to add some acetate and have your gift card show through. It's completely up to you how you want to make this card today. So I went ahead and I die cut this using my Gemini Junior die cutting machine. And unfortunately my camera didn't turn on for the next clip, so I'm just going to explain briefly what I had done. So I now have this parcel box, this die cut here. And what I did was I placed this on top of an A2 size card panel that measured 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So what I had was the parcel box and then underneath a card panel. I held them down with magnets and I stamped the Mondo Holly stamp first onto the parcel box, and then I removed the parcel dot box and stamped it directly on the cardstock. That way, the Mondo Holly stamp is exactly in the middle of my parcel box as well as the card panel. So the only thing you didn't see here was me just stamping it on top of the parcel box. But that's why my Mondo Holly stamp on the card panel is kind of in the middle of my Misty at the moment, because I'd placed the parcel box die in first so I could see where to line up my stamp. If you're unsure, you can check out one of my videos that I created earlier using the same technique but with the Mondo Secura die from Julie Ebersol, which was a flower stamp. I'm now going to go ahead and Copic color this image. So I'm using several different colors here. I'm using R24, R29, and R59 to create the cherries. So what I'm doing is I'm taking a look to see which one of these berries, and I'm taking a look to see which berries are sitting on top of each other. So if I notice a berry sitting on top of the other berry, that would create a shadow. So I'm going to put a shadow on the berry that's underneath. And this way, it starts to pop up the more and more layers you add to the berries. And this is how it makes it look 3D. I then went in with a couple of different colors for the brown. And I went in with my really, really dark color brown here to make a really good contrast. And then I blended it out with medium and a light color. For my actual leaves here, I used something that was a little bit more subtle. I wanted it to be more of a natural leaf color. So I used YG91, YG97, and YG95 to create this. I started off by coloring all of the leaves in the lightest color. I then went in and tried to do the similar thing as I did to the berries. I tried to think of where the leaf would be folding over the other areas and creating a shadow. That's where I added the YG97. I kind of ended up adding them to every part of the veins of the leaves, but kind of where I thought it would be folding in, that's where I added my shadows. Then I went out and blended that color with the YG95, and then went again once again to blend it all over with the lightest color, just to make everything kind of seamless. Overall, a lot of these areas are going to be folded, so in the end, doesn't really matter if you have the most perfect coloring in the world. So now that I finished up my coloring here, I'm going to show you the card panel that I have on the left. So it's cut down to 4 by 5 1/4, and it is in the exact same spot as the parcel box die. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold the parcel box die. I'm going to take all of the fold lines that are placed when you die cut it, so all of the lines are there for you to start scoring. I'm grabbing my Teflon bone folder here, and I'm folding down all of the sides and reinforcing all of those folds, starting with the side. Now there is about 1/4 of an inch raise in this box, so it's perfect for things like a gift card, but could also hold something a little bit bulkier as well. When I place it onto my card panel after, the lines aren't going to match up 100% because the box is 3D. It's not flat, so that's why it doesn't really 100% matter with that Misty stamping technique to get it perfect. However, to anyone looking at the card from afar or at a distance as someone would normally hold it, nobody's really going to notice that small detail. It still looks beautiful in the end. Now I like to get all my gifts done early, so these are generally the things that I'll start creating first. I put it in a gift certificate here for a free cup of tea at David's Tea, and what's really cool about this parcel box die is that your gift card or free tea or whatever it is that you're giving away doesn't have to match your card in any way. I find when I'm making gift card holders, I always try to pick out gift cards that actually fit the Christmas colors like red and green and white, so they're easy to match up with my cardstock and ink. But with this parcel box die, you don't have to worry about any of that. You can place the most ridiculous colors inside here. So teal can actually go with olive green in this case, because nobody's going to see it. So I added some liquid glue here to the box. Probably some tape would have been a little bit more efficient. I held it until it was dry, and then I placed it on top of my card panel here by adding some more glue. I think it looks really, really fun to have that colored burst of area where the box is, and then have the black and white over the bottom. It really just makes for a fun appearance, and it's a really fun technique to do, even with flat objects. I've done it many times before, where I've gone in with a die cut, stamped 2 areas, colored one, and then die cut it, and then added them to separate cards. It's just a really fun technique to try. The next step was just adding a sentiment, so I grabbed a piece of black cardstock, and I used my embossing bag here. You see that I always try to use my scraps up, and so I like to save all these little small pieces here for small sentiments like this one. I add small sentiments to the majority of my cards. I always find that large images are my favorite thing to add, and then adding these small sentiments just really make a subtle touch to the card without overwhelming it. I stamped it with some VersaFine ink, or Versamark ink rather, and I stamped it actually twice because I didn't think the first time was straight. And then I went ahead and I dunked it into some white embossing powder. I went in with some white super fine detail Ranger embossing powder. It's one of my favorites and staples in my craft room. I find it really important to have a fine detail embossing powder when stamping sentiments as small as these ones. I'm going to grab my heat tool now and I'm going to heat it up. It's going to make a nice opaque sentiment. Off screen, I've used my trimmer to trim that down into a small rectangle, and I'm going to add that to the front of my card using a little bit of 3D embossing foam. I think that extra stability of the adhesive is going to help a lot, but a nice strong adhesive will do being on top of the parcel box. I added my card panel now to the front of an A2 size card base in 110 pound Neenah Solar White cardstock. I always try to use a thin piece of cardstock for my card bases, or my card panels rather. So I don't feel too bad when I throw them in the garbage if they don't turn out, because it's a lot cheaper. And then I use the thicker ones for my card bases. I always like to have a white frame around my cards. In my opinion, it frames my artwork and it kind of makes it look finished, even if it is white on white. It's one of my favorite things about my cards. It's such a subtle little hint or a tip, but it just really makes a difference. I'm now just going to go in with a little Wink of Stella brush and brighten everything up with some sparkle. I'm going to hold it up to the light there, and maybe you can even see it on screen, because I know it's difficult to see during the filming process. So I hope you enjoyed this sort of remake of a previous card that I had created, and you'll check out the parcel die for your holiday cards this year. It really is perfect to be able to have these gift cards holders that you don't have to match up the gift card with. And of course, you can also cut out the window in the front of the card, and you can have the gift card showing through if you think it's not obvious that there's a gift card inside. To top everything off, I added a little glitter bow die cut that comes with the parcel box die in some shimmer paper and glitter paper from Concord & Ninth. Now here's a final look at the card that I created, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in October for another video in which I hope my voice is back and a little bit better. If you're interested in subscribing to the Ellen Hudson channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, or you can check out more craft videos below. Thanks for watching. Bye!